Hello, today I want to do a quick overview and tour of the Google My Business tool because I'm getting a lot of questions on it here in the pandemic time period, and things are always changing in there. So I thought I'd do a quick tour for people that are either new to it and claiming their listing, or just how to interact and help yourself by using the tool to help tell Google and users how your business operates. So I want to start out, this is a totally random search for a business. So this is Tupelo Smiles Dentistry. So if you don't own your Google My Business, the first thing you should do is go into Google and search for your business by name. If your business shows up, you can claim it. It means Google has already figured out that your business exists and where it exists. You can click on it. It will pop up your basic Google My Business page information. Now, if you don't own it, it's just going to have pretty basic information, although users can upload pictures, things like that on there. But this is where you can claim it if it already exists. So the internet is running a little slow here, but you look for this little link that says own this business. And if you click on that, it'll walk you through a process just basically to prove that you own the business. So I'm not going to go through all this because I don't own this business. Now, for example, this one has already been claimed. If somebody owns it, then it becomes a little bit more of an issue, and you might want to have someone help you out with that. But you can request ownership. But if it hasn't been claimed, it'll basically just have you either via phone or via postcard prove that you own the business. Then you can get ownership with your Google account. You need a Google account, of course, to do any of this stuff. So the other option that can pop up is that your business doesn't exist at all on Google. So if that's the case, again, you want to have a Google account, or it'll force you to create a Google account. If you go to business.google.com, log in, and then you can sort of create this business. So you would type your business name, and I'm not going to go all the way through this because I don't want to create a fake business, but just to give you an example. So as you type in the name of your business, it's going to look for it. So if you're not sure, Google's still going to search for your name of your business as you go through this. And it's going to ask for all this information. So you'll just walk through all this, put your business information in there. Keep in mind that you want to be consistent with this. So you don't want your business to have one name on Google, a different name on Yelp, or a different name even on your website. It should match all around. Google's policy is that your name of your business should be what you say when you answer the phone. So don't try to sort of scam it with putting keywords in it that aren't actually part of your business name, even if you hear that might help you with rankings, things like that. Just for long-term stability, you want to use your actual business name and do things right. Now, with that being said, once you put this information in there, Google is the strongest representation of your business. So I would stick with the name, address, and phone number that you give Google when you start sharing information around to different relationships you have. If you join a chamber of commerce or things like that, use the name, address, and phone that you use on your Google My Business to represent yourself in other places so things match. Search engines like to see that things match because it gives them more, they're more sure that that's the business you're talking about if things match. So all that being said, we're going to skip over here and just look at the back end really quickly of a Google My Business page. And this is just for me. This is my business page, but once you own your business listing, you would again go to business.google.com, and it'll come into the back end of Google My Business, and this is where all the information is. So this is where you can do posts, and posts basically expire every 7 days. So when you do a post, and it's a good idea to do posts at least once every 7 days because, as I tell people all the time, it feeds the Google beast. So the more information Google has and can associate with your business, the better. I would post at least once a week. I typically post a couple times a week, either with a little information from a latest blog post. You can add a learn more button or other types of buttons. There's all sorts of things you can do. You add a photo, you write a post, add buttons that you want. The learn more would allow you to put a link that goes to the page that talks about it. There's a lot of different things you can play with here. And I would say whatever is relevant to your business, do it as much as you can. If you have events, you can set up events in here. There's all sorts of things that you can do. And I would say the more you interact with this, the better. Google values businesses that interact with their Google My Business. As a business owner, even though we all think of our website as where we want to convert people, the Google My Business is increasingly becoming your website as well. It's like you have two websites, and you don't care if you get your business from the Google My Business or from your website as long as it's coming in. So you might as well do the quick and easy things that Google rewards. And one of those is just interacting with your Google My Business page by posting, by putting as much information in there as you can. You see there's an info over here. That brings up basic stuff, your name, address, the phone, the service areas, things like that. There are considerable differences. There's what's called a service area business, and then the actual normal sort of type of business that has an address. So if you're a service area business like an electrician or something like that, that goes out to your customers, then they still want your address, but they don't necessarily put that online because people don't come to your business, you come to them. But your address is still a factor in whether you show up. Even as a service area business, if your address is in New York City, you're not going to show up for searches in Tacoma, so for example. But it also allows you to put your hours in, all sorts of extra information. Appointment links, you can see here different specific services. Put as much specific information as you possibly can, because you want, as people get more and more spoiled by Google or used to Google being smart, they're putting more and more specific information in there. So every specific service that you offer, you should list in here, because Google will then associate that to your offerings and maybe have you show up. If someone's looking for the best mocha latte near them, mocha latte isn't a business category, but if Google finds that you're listing mocha latte as something that you offer in here, that's going to make you relevant to that search and have you pop up. It's also really, really helpful if people leave specific information in reviews about you. So someone saying that they feel that you offer the best mocha latte nearby in a review, that's even more valuable to Google, because Google trusts what other people say about you more than what they trust you to say about yourself. So always be asking for reviews. Reviews are becoming more and more important every day, and ask for specific reviews. Don't just, I tell people, and it's not 100% the case, but a lower review score with more specific examples of what you do is almost more valuable than a 5-star. So a 5-star review that doesn't say anything except good job, I'd almost rather have a 4-star review that says they did a great job servicing me with an SEO plan that helped my small business in dentistry, that kind of thing. Because that allows Google to associate your score to specific services that you offer and have you show up higher for those searches that people make. Now, of course, we all want to have over a 4.0 score, but we all know that when there's hundreds of reviews on a listing and they're all perfect 5-star, that looks sketchy, and in general that usually looks fake. So it is helpful to have a nick on your resume here and there to just show that you're real and prove that you're a real business that actually runs into people from time to time, because everybody doesn't give perfect scores. Anyway, insights on the back end, that'll give you some data information. Everybody's data is a little messed up right now for the most part with COVID. We're all, except some niche industries, down compared to last year, that kind of thing. Photos, the more photos you can get in there, the better. It's helpful, again, just like with reviews, if customers leave photos. For consulting and things like that, that might be a little rarer than for restaurants and that type of industry. And everything, again, with all of this is relative to your competition. But if you have a lot of photos, put them in there, because the more data is showing there's a high correlation to the number of photos and your ranking. Again, it's just showing to Google that you're interacting and you're putting things on there. Services, this also shows up in the info, but it's another way to get in there. You can specifically add, as I told you before, your services. You can create a website on here that attaches to it. Most US businesses already have a website. So if you already have a website, do not mess with this. But if you don't have a website and need a cheap and easy one, this is a website tool that will build one for you. Lastly, I'm not going to go into all the sort of advanced stuff, but lastly is users. So this is where you can actually add, if you have someone in the office that you want to manage this and do your post for you, you can add them in here, and you just click on the plus next to the person and you add their email address and it will invite them in. There are different levels. You can be a site manager, a primary owner, and owner. Unless you really trust them or they're a trusted SEO partner that's going to do posts for you, you probably don't want to make them an owner. or at least a primary owner. You can add them as an owner. My clients that I have good relationships will add me as an owner. It helps me set up data studio reports for them, which I need to have that level of access to provide. The primary owner can always go in and remove access to people, so don't be worried about employees. But employees, you may want to just make a manager unless they're well-trusted employees. And they can still go in there. They can respond to reviews. They can do things like that. But this is where you do it. Sometimes people have trouble knowing exactly where they can add other users to help them manage their Google My Business. But that's the main thing. You go to business.google.com. If you don't have it set up, you can go through their process to set it up and get ownership of your own business. And once you have ownership, you want to feed the Google beast, add as much possible information as you can, and get moving with Google My Business, posting every week, doing this stuff right, and it'll help you move up the rankings, always asking for reviews. Thanks so much. Enjoy. I hope this was helpful.